Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comic Book Wednesday for January. I believe it is the 21st of 2014. Yeah, I'm correct. I always am. Mwahaha ha ha. Anywho, we are here with some comics, and not much this week. Only two really big comics this week, and debating on whichever you think is better. Whatever. Don't care. Big, but first we get a classic comic, and I posted on my Twitter/Facebook, links in the description, that I was gonna actually be doing stuff from my Midtown purchase that I got. I'm still doing that, just not right now. It's too early to say if I'm actually getting that package today because it's a winter, yeah, and it's supposed to really, really bad tonight. So I don't know when I'm gonna be getting that. But fortunately, I do know that I do have books to talk about for this week, and I wanted to get a classic comic in. The thing about the classic comic that I'm talking about today, it kind of rare. I'll be honest. Not a lot of people knew about World's Finest and how it was a tie-in to the Requiem storyline of Batman. How, yeah, it's kind of tied into that. How, yeah, Damien's death is affected in with Huntress and Power Girl in a way, and they don't say it ever on the cover. So not a lot of people knew about this, and not a lot of people bought this book. Not a lot of shop retailers bought this. Luckily, they had one left in there. I'm like, I'm gonna get this, and I still got it for a cheap amount of price. So luckily, this is gonna be cheap, but I'm expecting a good storyline. I was hoping to get number 2, but I didn't. And yeah, I'll probably get that next time. I thought I was gonna get a Marvel book, but there wasn't any like Marvel books that were sparking interest in me there. So next time I go, I promise you, classic comics. Other than the Midtown comics, there are gonna be 2 Marvel books next time. So this is what we get. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this a little bit classic. But let's get on to the real stuff this week, starting off with all new Invaders. Oh yeah, am I excited for this one? I don't really care for the creative team, James Robinson and Steve Pugh. I can't believe that's how you say it, Pugh. But I am very excited for this story. They're bringing back the Invaders from the 1940s, 30s, of Captain America, Namor, Bucky Barnes, who's now the Winter Soldier, and the original Human Torch. Yes, he is back. I don't remember his name, but he is back. I can't wait to see what kind of antics they get in. Woohoo! Actually, I wanted to get a Scotty Young cover of this, but unfortunately, my retailer doesn't do Scotty Young covers anymore because Marvel raised like the prices of them. Not the prices of the Scotty Young covers, but the prices on how many issues you need to buy, which sucks because those are really cool. And I was actually wanting to get one of them because they look cute, but unfortunately I couldn't. But again, I am very interested in this book. I'm hoping that James Robinson does a good story, even though I'm not a big fan of him like Tombow 237 is. But whatever. As long as he can tell a good story in this and help bring these original characters back from the olden days. And finally, Batman number 27. Whoo, we got a doozy here. We got the 0 year still going on and stuff. Kind of interesting to see what happened after the last issue, which was kind of really just okay and good. I mean, it wasn't the worst Batman issue, but it wasn't the best. I still think the best issue was issue number 20. 24, 25, the one where he puts on the cowl for the first time, and it's exciting as hell. And it was awesome. It was the best issue, no doubt about it. However, I'm still kind of wondering what this whole bone mutation thing is. And I'm thinking right now, I haven't opened the book yet, that Batman isn't going to have this. But I never know. I just don't know ever. However, looking forward to reading this especially. I hope it doesn't, at the same time, I doubt it does beat New Invaders on which one is better, but honestly, don't care. Just looking forward to reading the book. So with that being said, kind of a short introduction, but let's go to the future of 5 seconds. Yeah. Funny me. Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back. And let's get into this quickly because I'm kind of behind. My bad. Things been happening here, and yeah, this is going to be uploaded late, I can already tell you that. So, let's get into it. First, Huntress, Power Girl number 10. Awesome book. The artwork, again, it's not George Perez artwork, of course. The first issue, George Perez, excellent artist. He's one of the best artists in the industry, but of course, he left DC because he's mad at DC. And yeah, don't really see much of his work anymore. But Kevin Maguire does an okay job. I mean, it's not the best work in the world, but I definitely like it. The story is great though, and still love this series. Paul Levitz, of course, who originally made Huntress back in the day, back in the 80s and 70s. I don't exactly know what time exactly he was officially created. Yeah, it works on the book still, and he still works on making Huntress a better character along with Power Girl, and this shows Huntress's weak side and stuff. So I'm glad that this was pretty good. Definitely glad. Next we have All New Invaders. Now All New Invaders takes place in current time with the original Invaders. Cool, right? Definitely. I definitely agree. I think this was an excellent book. Not many flaws. A couple of times the artwork was okay, and sometimes it's kind of bored reading it. But I think that the original Human Torch is a very interesting character. This is kind of his introduction to current readers, because again, not many readers read the original Invaders back in the day. So, glad that they did this. I'm very interested in the story. This is actually, I'm going to be honest, the first time I can fully say I'm going to pick up a consistent Marvel series and probably not stop. Because I even though I'm not the biggest fan of James Robinson, I think this is going to be his best book. I've already said it right now, because I'm already a fan of this book. Yeah, that's a lot to say. And finally, Batman number 27. Now, disclaimer, this doesn't happen. Nothing with this bone deformation doesn't happen at all in the book. Which is kind of sad, I guess, but, I mean, it's a cool cover. Greg Capullo does a great cover. Anyway, the story continues off where we left off. Batman's getting shot down by the police. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with this book. This book definitely recovered from when the last one left off. It shows off the connection between Jim Gordon and Batman already, and it's great. It's a little rushed, I think, that they have this connection already, but they show it so easily, and why Jim Gordon believes that Batman's not that bad, and how he believes in him. At one point, Batman's trying to clear off acid from his face, and then Jim Gordon's like, "Oh, you should take off your mask." And he gives him his glasses so he can't see his face. So that's pretty cool of Jim Gordon. Then we go into a little bit of the storyline with Alfred and Bruce, and how they're both well, not Bruce, but Alfred's kind of worried about Bruce and how he feels about the whole thing, especially with knowing that his Uncle Phil died. Yeah, not only did the real Uncle Phil in real life die, the Uncle Phil in Batman died. And he died from crimes and basically kind of doing the same thing that Bruce did, and Alfred just doesn't want to see Bruce go down the same path and die that way. And Bruce is just telling Alfred to reassure that he'll be fine and all that. Then we see the first interaction between Batman and the Riddler, and I'll kind of leave it off at that, because that's basically where the book ends. But the book is very interactive with them. Definitely great to see them finally meet. I can't wait for the next issue. I really hope that they continue on with the path that they're doing, because I do think that this was a great issue, better than the last one. And yeah, definitely keep making more Batman, Scott Snyder, because I can see what you're doing. Alright. Before we get into the top 3, I want to say that I did get my Midtown Comics this week. Fortunately, I didn't know that until later today, and I made a mistake. I'm part of the order, so I have to order more. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, you'll be seeing those in the time being in a couple weeks. sometime in February you'll be seeing one of them. Probably either something, probably either the Guardians of the Galaxy #1, Superior Spider-Man #817, or kind of a stretch here, Forever Evil #1. I did purchase it. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to that point. Anywho, what do I think was the best book of the week? Well, again, we can't put Huntress and Power Girl on there because it is an older book, not for the week. But #2, kind of be a shock, because both these books were excellent, and I recommend picking them up no matter what. If you love one company, unfortunately one company lost to the other company today, in my opinion, but still. #2 is Batman #27. I love this book. I think it was a great addition to the storyline that's going on right now, even though the cover is misleading. I still think the connection between Batman and Jim Gordon is great. I think the only issue was that it still wasn't my favorite, which sucks, but I still think it was great, and I recommend totally picking this up no matter what. But yeah, #1 is All New Invaders #1. This issue was just great, even though the artwork, again, and some of the writing, iffy. However, I still think that this is the book that I can honestly say I want to pick up as a full series. I want to consistently read this until the story really basically ends for these guys, when the Invaders basically stops. I mean, I'd love to see that. And I'm so interested in what the story's going to do now with this new storyline with the Kree. Very interested, and I can't wait to pick up the next one in 2 weeks. Honestly, that's the first time I really pretty much have ever said that. I can't wait to pick up the next one in 2 weeks. Thank you, All New Invaders. Thank you, James Robston, and thank you, Steve Pugh. Great job on the book. Continue your work, definitely. Well, let's talk about next week. Next week, one of those days where annuals come out. So, we do have a couple annuals we're going to take a look at. Mostly from DC. Marvel's only got one book. And that's Night of the Living Deadpool #2. This is a miniseries, that's why I'm collecting them all. This is really the only time I got a miniseries that I want to collect. And yeah, I love the first issue. If you didn't see that, check out last week's Comic Book Wednesday, and then you'll know how I feel about it. Let's talk about other things. So, first, DC's unannual list. Unannual. Yes, unannual. Superman and Shade #6. Still love the series. I'm hoping the series stays alive for a little bit longer. I do think that this story needs to get pushed a little bit more to see where it's going, because I know they're supposed to introduce Wonder Woman into the story at some point to fight with Wraith, which would be really cool. So I wonder how they're going to introduce that into there. But I know, of course, they do have Superman and Superman and Wraith fighting. Yeah, you got Batman and Wonder Woman coming in to help. Actually, I just remember how Wonder Woman came in. So there you go. I want to see what they're going to do next. After that, everything's annuals. First annual will be World's Finest Annual #1. We're going to take a look, but they're basically, they're going to do is they're going to take us back in time when Huntress and Power Girl were Robin and Supergirl back in Earth 2, which will be very cool in my opinion. Nice to see them back in their old Earth 2 roots that we never got a chance to see, because, again, Earth 2 basically kind of got destroyed in a way, but it's still alive now, and we lost a lot of members from, Batman died, Superman died, well, Batman didn't technically die, Wonder Woman died. Yeah, a lot of the main Justice League members died on Earth 2, but technically Batman's not dead anymore, but finally get to see a story that shows Huntress and Power Girl's relationships with the Earth 2 Batman and Superman. Well, hopefully. We don't know that, but we see that they're going to be fighting Wonder Woman for some reason, so there's that. After that, Well, we're just gonna talk about the series that I really don't pick up first, and then talk about the book that I'm probably the annual I'm most excited for. We have Batman and Robin annual number 2. Now this is going to be a Batman and Robin story, not with Damian though. Unfortunately, people love Damian. Now he's gone. Boo hoo, boo hoo. I guess I don't know what to tell you. However, this story is gonna have Dick Grayson in it as Robin. We're not going back in time though. He's gonna be wearing his old Robin suit. Yeah. I guess the story is that apparently someone's reenacting a crime that Batman and Robin solved years ago. So apparently that calls for Dick Grayson to wear his old Robin suit, I guess. I believe in Peter Tomasi, even though he's leaving the book. I think this could be good if they do it right. And never know. Never know. And finally, the one I'm most excited for, because it's just going to be a one-shot storyline, and they've been pumping it out basically like the whole month. Batman and Superman annual number 1. We're going to have the Bat family versus the Superman family. Can't wait for that, definitely. So, that being said, one more thing before I go. If I didn't mention this before, because I'm blanking on it now, please go check out the podcast I did with MCMG Videos and with their owner, Tomballa237. Yeah, I did a podcast with them, webcams enabled, and it was a hour and 20-minute podcast. A very good discussion, though, I had with him about different types of things. We talked about last week's books. We talked about Batman Superman movie news that came out at the end of the week that I fortunately was awake for, and I was alive for, to hear when I was there, and I was like, we gotta talk about this as soon as we can. We talk about Kotobukiya, how much I love those statues, and we also talk about New 52 stuff, cancellations. We talk about new books coming in. We talk about a lot of things. So I definitely recommend go checking that out, because it was definitely a fun time, and I love being on that podcast. Whew. So, with that being said, this is Sonic Fable saying I'll check you out next week for comic books. And today's date is actually the 22nd, and I'm a screw. See you next week.